Hello everyone, my name is Drake, and today I will be discussing the ziggurat of Ur in ancient Mesopotamia, or modern-day southern Iraq. This impressive structure was constructed around 2100 BCE in the city of Ur. The ziggurat served as a religious center for the Sumerians, and the structure was dedicated to the moon god Inanna. The Uruk Revolution is a term used to describe this first urban city of Ur. Urban phenomena such as the building of brick houses in close proximity to one another, large-scale sculpture, clay tablets with cuneiform writing, which led to alphabets. It is suggested that there is some ideological religious motivation for building up the city at Ur, and perhaps suggest that the cult of Inanna shrine at the Temple of Ur, the largest structure built in the city, resulted in and laid the foundation for the earliest civilization. The ziggurat of Ur was a massive structure built on a rectangular platform, as we can see here. Oops, here. And it was about 210 feet by 150 feet. The structure was made up of a series of stepped terraces, as we can see here, here, and here, with the highest point reaching approximately 70 feet tall. Temple was constructed using bitumen bricks. Bitumen is a thick black residue derived out of petroleum. We can see a sort of rendering here. The building is the first recorded using petroleum products, along with local clay to form the bricks. The shrine, or the main place of worship, that usually involves a series of protocols, which revolved around the sacred place of worship within the religious sect or cult, um, was located at the very top, as we can see here, and also here. The Shrine of Inanna is actually one example that indicates how shrines are constructed for purposes of worship, with the three staircases here, here, and here, converging up to the parapet here, and then steep stairs leading up to the main part of the temple right here, as you can see, right there. And that's where the main shrine to the goddess was located. In the early 2000s, the American-led invasion of Iraq began, and during the conflict, the American military set up a base close by the ancient structure, which we can see here, some soldiers going up the stairs, one of the main stairs of the ziggurat. And this can be seen as ironic, since the temple was dedicated to the moon god, Inanna. The moon god is often associated with war in Mesopotamian mythology, as we can see in this relief here, where she has one knee raised here as a sign of victory, and her shoulders here and here are laden with weapons. In modern times, we can see how societies may worship war gods, but in a more abstract manner. In the United States, for example, the military budget is the largest in the world, as we can see in this study here, right here. This study shows the cost of the war in Iraq. This may suggest that there is a sort of belief that the nation needs to be protected through military means, which can be likened to worshiping a war god of sorts. Buildings constructed in the United States have a similar layout to the ziggurat, following a series of protocols. We can see in some plan layouts of Northrop Grumman or Raytheon headquarters, there's a main entrance here with a sort of checkpoint that can be likened to the parapet at Ur. We can then see here, in the Northrop Grumman headquarters, the layout of a sort of hierarchical structure here. And this is likened to the main temple at Ur, where only priests were allowed to enter for ceremony. The main structure of these buildings requires a certain security checkpoint and authority to enter. Additionally, it is important to note how human activity has impacted the geography surrounding the ziggurat of Ur. The marshlands of southern Iraq, as you can see here, the drying up here, and then a map of southern Iraq here. The marshlands of southern Iraq were once near the ziggurat, creating a lush and green environment, and originally the city was located near the Euphrates, which is seen, the Euphrates is here. A sort of terraforming took place, either deliberately or accidentally, changing the topological, atmospheric, or temperature in the area. Unfortunately, these environmental changes can be seen in southern Iraq marshlands or the ancient Mesopotamian marshes due to desertification from global warming and climate change. Terraforming also took place in the instance of Saddam Hussein's damming and diverting water sources. We can see some of that damage here, as well as here. This activity of deprivation or erasure of an area leads us into another related topic, that of cultural terrorism, which is the intentional destruction of one particular ethnic group's cultural beliefs in order to advance another set of beliefs. Here's a map showcasing several mosques here, and here's a legend showcasing them. Several mosques, as well as churches and artifacts that were destroyed by the terror group ISIS, which is similar to the destruction of the marshlands as well as the incidental destruction by war. Applied to architectural thinking, this would include the destruction of statues, reliefs, and buildings, as well as any designed item. This particular area in Mosul, southern Iraq, where the extremist group ISIS destroyed countless artifacts, as well as bulldozed archaeological sites, both the Christian, secular, and Muslim, shows this idea of erasure of history or the destruction thereof. And that's important when discussing the ziggurat because it is such an old monument and monumental structure that is still here with us today and can actually help remind us of our history and showcase certain patterns which have persisted throughout human society through the long history of our species. In conclusion, the Ziggurat of Ur is an impressive structure that has played an important role in human society and history, as it serves a reminder of how human activity can impact the natural environment and how our beliefs and practices can shape the world around us. Thank you very much for your attention.